is about the red zone that makes patience so difficult, but we saw how it pays off if you have it.
It does. The field shrinks, you know, as the closer you get to that end zone. It can be tempting to feel like certain players are more open than they actually are because you can't tell always how little room you have to work with. You can see someone with a little bit of separation and feel like it's time to pull the trigger. It's just a little more anxiety as you get closer and closer to that line. Uh, Fortunately, in this case, they were able to take a breath, complete a couple throws, and punch it in.
So Middlebury has narrowed their deficit to 1 goal. They have 4, Air Force 5. The pull is up and will go out of bounds. So when the pull goes out of bounds like this, it will go to the brick mark, which is a mark that is on the field. You can see where the defender is already standing there. And it's typically center field and additional yardage advantage for the offense. Disc is live, back in play. Thrown a little bit behind on the far sideline. There was contact, but I think there's some discussion about when the contact happened and the effect it would have on the catch. In USA Ultimate rules, contact that happens after both players are going for the disc is not a foul. However, in international play, that is still considered a foul. So the ruling is it is not a foul. Disc will be checked back into play by Salzman. One-handed rolling grab by Hansen, but out of reach on the reset. Air Force with an opportunity. Villanueva clears, counts getting high. Reset to Arns, but stall called. So the throw must be thrown. Explain the stall call. When does it have to be thrown, and what does a contest mean?
Once a mark is set, a thrower has 10 seconds to release the disc. If by the time that the mark says the T in 10 on their stall count, the disc has been officially stalled out, there tends to be a decent amount of controversy about when that point happens. And in this case, it seems the observer decided that that had not been reached.
So Air Force maintains possession, working it down the far sideline. Arns to Chungmoy, to Villanueva, back to Chungmoy. Gains lots of yards, but still not in. Resetting, Villanueva. And inside backhand, some quick throws. Air Force able to convert.
Some very creative movement there. Not exactly where you'd expect to see that throw be placed for the receiver as it was swung across the field there. However, Villanueva seems to have quite a range of throws that he can use to distribute to the disc to his other handlers.
Yeah, Villanueva's throw very low to the ground, but still complete. Heads up plays, heads up catching, really on both sides of the disc we've seen so far. But Air Force will take a 2-goal lead. They're 6 to Middlebury 4. And we're so glad everyone is tuning in to our live stream. Be sure to leave a comment. Let us know where you're from. If you know anybody on the team we might shout you out even. So Air Force to pull the academy out of Colorado Springs, Colorado. Middlebury College is out of Middlebury, Vermont. Two very different parts of the country meeting here in Rockford. And heads up defense from Theodore Janser. Air Force converts quickly to get another break.
Can be really tough when you allow a turn that close to your end zone. You can see here Air Force was able to just pick up the disc and immediately dish for the score. Sometimes taking the patient looks underneath don't always work out that well, and as much as you don't want to ever tell your players to force things deep, a little bit more air under that would have given the Middlebury team a bit more time to recover and maybe stop a look into the end zone.
So now they have 7, Middlebury 4. Half is at 8. So if Air Force is able to get another break here, they will take half. Middlebury saying not so fast, trying to answer with their offense.
The sideline energy here has been great so far. Both teams seem very active, whether they're on the field or off.
The sideline activity serves a double bonus since it is 44 degrees, helps keep them warm too.
It does.
Ready to go in when it's their turn. I might do some wind sprints during halftime myself. Middlebury out of a vertical stack, looking for the huck. They threw underneath instead. Now with the reset, Salzman over to Levitt. Inside, Asher Lance. Reset back to Salzman. Sliding, grab, De Lorenzo. A few feet outside the end zone. Salzman looking with that blade. Bounces off the ground. There was a defender in the way, but I think the throw probably wasn't going to complete.
Salzman's been able to complete a few of those already, but even with some wind dying down here a little bit, that one was just not quite enough.
So a little bit of conversation with the disc being checked back in. Browning underneath. Shooting up, a two-handed layout catch.
An immediate timeout call. Although it appears.
Let's take another look.
That's a tough catch and hitting the ground like that. You never know if how it's gonna feel when you get up.
So it looks like Chong Moy will leave the field on the injury, but timeout is still called. And we have lots of alums rooting. Some folks from Colorado rooting for Air Force Academy. Not surprising. Have some Middlebury alums. See a Lady Prankster chiming in. And you can check out all kinds of information about the college championships at collegechampionships.usaultimate.org. The defending women's champions this year, Carleton College Eclipse, who are not here at the tournament, and the defending men's champions are Richmond Davidson, who are here this year but are out of title convention. In fact, earlier we saw them during our lightning delay. They were playing John Brown on one of the indoor fields inside and attracted quite the crowd. It was a pretty exciting ultimate playing 5-on-5 indoors.
It really was. They treated it like it was, one of these actual full-fledged national games out there.
The disc is live back in. Villanueva with the shot right away to Trevor Browning. That's a goal.
Air Force able to be patient after a big play and a timeout call.
Taking another look.
Another tough layout grab there. Able to hold on through ground contact and put this game at half.
So Air Force has 8, Middlebury 4. We're through one half of play here in the men's semifinals at the USA Ultimate Division III College Championships. I'm Emmy Fitzgerald with Andrew Fisher, and we are going to take a quick break, and when we return, we will have more Ultimate in this second half of play. Welcome back to Rockford, Illinois, where we are about to begin the second half of play in the men's semifinals, the USA Ultimate D3 College Championships. Middlebury pulling to Air Force. Air Force with a 4-goal lead. I'm Emmy Fitzgerald with Andrew Fisher. Air Force working it underneath. Higgins, the disc. Gains yards to Delgado. Resets to Villanueva. Straight up the line. That's Villanueva to Moshe. Familiar connection we've seen so far today. Despite that little bit of bobble, Villanueva maintains his composure.
Air Force had been scoring earlier with a number of deep looks. It seems that Middlebury may have adjusted to force them under a little bit. However, it seems that Air Force has maybe pushed their stack a little bit deeper and allowed them to use underspace much better to gain yards more quickly, as they were able to eat up most of the field length there with just a few completions.
So now Air Force with the quick score out of half. They have a 5-goal lead. And the rounds were delayed a few hours this morning because of lightning in the area, but has made for that at the raid has really made for soft ground and lots of layouts, which we've seen so far today. Middlebury working out of a vertical stack and looking for that huck right off the bat. It's floating, and the second attempt is a layout. That's good. That's Connor Levesque.
That's a great rip by DiLorenzo there.
Really heads up play from Levesque, which is why it's great to follow your huck.
Absolutely. It's one of those tried and true coaching tips that I've heard through the years is never give up on a disc until it's on the ground or in the hands of another player in this case.
So Middlebury with 5, Air Force 9. It's a game to 15. The clock you see counting down is to soft cap. And the wind has seemed to die down significantly, but still chilly. Air Force in horizontal stack. Middlebury coming out with a zone look. A 4-person cup. 1 on the mark and 3 in a bit of a wall. Now trap. Higgins to Villanueva. And overshot, looked like the receiver slipped. In the case of a zone, you can't have more than 1 person within 10 feet of the disc. Now Middlebury back on offense. Underneath to near midfield. This is Hanafi to Lance. Lance to Salzman. And timeout called, Middlebury. What do you do here if you're Middlebury wanting to capitalize on your possession?
Well, like you said earlier, it can be. It's one of those things when you get close to the end zone that it just it seems so tempting to want to take that shot, make that throw that finishes the point, that scores for your team. Finding just a moment to compose everyone on the line to make sure that they're on the same page, that the first few cuts are clean, and the first throws come off well. That can allow a quick throw or two and the movement to punch in and score easily.
Middlebury using their timeout to do another one of their dance.
Maybe
dance
that's all they called it
cheers.
for. Maybe.
Right. So they're set up in a vertical stack, but they have one player you can see out off to the side. He looks like he's standing right in front of Salzman, but actually he's out to the right, which is typically an isolation type play. Sometimes it's a diversion. Here, it looked like he was the isolation. It's a handler strike up the line. And a layout D from Moshe. Now Villanueva picks up with Middlebury's zone. The four-person cup really forcing better throwers to be better throwers.
We see it there.
See Villanueva finding that space. Up over the top to Higgins. Inside to Moshe. Resets to Villanueva. And an outside-in backhand. No good. You see Villanueva do it again. That wasn't exactly the release point I was looking for. But Middlebury now has the full field to work.
You see there, their zone did its job in the end. Villanueva was able to get a very difficult throw off early, but wasn't able to do it twice.
Salzman picking up. You can see a bit of an activation play. One-on-one. Will it stay in bounds? And it will. It's Kai DiLorenzo. Middlebury, I believe, with the break.
Lance there able to size that huck up perfectly. Sometimes with the receiver open by that much, it can be a little bit unnerving to let go of the disc and do so and keeping it catchable. And that was well done.
Middlebury taking it within 3, Air Force 9, Middlebury 6. We're about 13 minutes from soft cap. We wanted to shout out Knox College. They missed nationals by a game and are rooting for a close game. You know, we're rooting for a close game too because we love Ultimate and it's fun to watch good Ultimate.
Games between two competitive teams are always more exciting. These teams seem to be keeping it toe-to-toe right now.
I think somebody asked who threw that huck. I believe it was Asher Lance who threw it.
Yes.
Now Air Force working it down the field. Villanueva, Middlebury back in their 4-person cup. Blade over the top, completed. Inside to Moshe. Higgins near sideline. Another blade. Moshe is there. And goes up the line. It has some discussion, I think, on if the disc was up if it was completed.
Let's take another look here.
So we took a look at the replay, and it appears to be up, but the call is made on the field, not from the announcer booth.
As much as the players on the field might wish we could do something about it.
So the ruling went to the observer, and the observer called it in. We have the benefit of replay, but these observers have to look at it in real time, make their rulings.
They really have a very difficult job out there. They have to keep track of a lot of different things all at once and still pay attention to the play and try to catch small things like whether or not that disc was up in real time.
So Air Force will get the score to have 10, up now by 4 over Middlebury. And the winner of this game will play the winner of the other side of the bracket, which is Bryant versus Carleton College Gods of Plastic. That's the 1 seed and the 5 seed. Here, the Air Force is the 2nd seed, Middlebury 3rd seed. But by the time you get to the championship bracket, seedings don't really matter anymore. You just got to score some points. Salzman with the disc. Working it underneath. And DiLorenzo finds Asher Lance. About a 5-pass score for the Middlebury Pranksters.
Middlebury, they're doing a great job to create space for their cutters underneath, allowing them to work it up the disc without much trouble, really.
So now Middlebury will pull DeLorenzo with the disc, the 6'2" sophomore.
DiLorenzo really does seem to be having a pretty big impact on this game. Seen him throw several scores and make several big throws that resulted in scores as well.
You can see how dirty his jersey is, how much contact with the ground he's gotten. Means he's putting in a lot of work today. So is Villanueva, who has the disc for Air Force. Moshe. And Air Force will keep it. Delgado. Villanueva. This near sideline. And overhead. A little bit of a late layout. William Cooper, the intended receiver.
Those shots right over the head of the receiver are always so difficult to get a good read on.
Need a little bit of Odell Beckham Jr. to get that. So Middlebury back with the disc. DeLorenzo looked for the huck, but Blades, kind of blade hammer to reset, and foul called. The foul is called on the throw. There is some discussion. Let's take another look.
Not a very
And
good view there,
I think we
unfortunately.
had lots of defenders. So they are going to the receiver and confirming foul is called. Disc will go back. To Middlebury. And intercepted right away. Arns. Overshoots. Just a little bit of handler miscommunication there. Middlebury with another shot. De Lorenzo. Salzman with the disc. Swinging around. Lance. Salzman. De Lorenzo. De Lorenzo in that backhand power position, but with the mark on. He still finds the backhand. And hospital pass, as they call. Everyone going up for the disc. But Air Force, it's a turnover, so Air Force will get it back.
I believe we may have heard De Lorenzo call out Asher Lance's name there when he wound up for that.
Villanueva with a huck right away.
Some contact there.
Foul called. Foul called, no contest. So Chung Moy will get the disc. About two-ish steps outside the end zone. There's one other one-on-one matchup as everyone else catches up. And there was a second attempt. Delgado is there for the score.
Great concentration by Delgado to recover after the initial catch attempt and follow through with the bid into the front of the end zone there.
And sometimes you make a great play with the layout D, and sometimes you're the offense and you make a great play catching it on the second attempt. So 2 great plays. So Air Force with 11. Middlebury has 7. They do have 7 goals. We're just under 4 minutes to the soft cap. So once the soft cap time expires, if Air Force hasn't reached, or Air Force or Middlebury has not reached 15 by that point, whatever score is higher, you add 2, and it will be a game to that number of points. So if soft cap ended now, it would be game to 13, but we still have around 3.5 minutes left to play until then.
That's right, and that cap applies to the end of the point in progress. So if the cap were to go off at this very minute, this point would have to be complete before that cap would be decided.
So offsides is called, which if you're on offense, explain offsides from offense versus defense, Andrew.
Offsides can occur for either team. On defense, every player on the team has to be behind that front line of the end zone until the pull is released by whoever's pulling. On the offensive side of the field, each player on the offensive line must start with at least 1 foot touching that front line of the end zone and may not leave that point until the pull goes off as well.
The first offsides is a warning, and then there are yardage penalties for subsequent offsides. So that one was a warning. Salzman with the disc. And there's the flick huck. looking for DiLorenzo. There's a score. Kai DiLorenzo being a favorite receiver all weekend, certainly in this game, and with a couple assists also.
He's able to track that one down and make a play before it has a chance to go out of bounds there.
So Air Force 11, Middlebury 8. Game is to 15.
Middlebury's been doing a great job of staying patient and keeping themselves in this game right now. Considering the time left, it's going to take some increased defensive pressure and some quick and efficient scoring to get them back in this.
Air Force will receive the pull. DiLorenzo has the disc currently to pull for Middlebury. Lots of hang time allows Middlebury to set their defense within one throw. Higgins going deep from the handler spot. Air Force looking underneath. He'll reset to Arns. Swings to Chung Moy. Chung Moy says, okay, let's get this out of here. It's short. DiLorenzo intercepting. Salzman finds DiLorenzo with the strike up line. Just the shot overhead, out of reach. Air Force to pick up on offense.
DiLorenzo had a receiver open there after a defender poached off to try to pick off the pass that was made to him. Unfortunately, that kind of wind is still pushing those discs out of bounds in that direction.
Higgins in power position and is looking for Moshe one-on-one, and he will catch it just as the timer goes to 0. We have not heard the soft cap horn here yet, though, I don't believe.
No, I don't believe so.
Apparently, DiLorenzo is known for wearing a tutu around campus at Middlebury. I don't think many of the Air Force guys are wearing tutus around campus, probably not part of their uniforms they wear. But that's the great thing about Ultimate. You have two different schools with very different cultures and approaches meeting here on the Frisbee field.
Absolutely. On top of that, the respect that they have coming from those different approaches is very clear. There's not a lot, even when calls have been made during this game. You know, there's been a lot of quick discussions. No hard feelings about anything that's anything that happens on the field. They're able to focus on the game that they're playing and just enjoy being out here.
So Air Force has 12, Middlebury 8. And I believe another offsides has been called. But each team gets one warning.
So that was the second one then on Air Force, it seems,
yes,
as Middlebury is able to advance the disc all the way up to half field.
So after the warning, the disc goes to half field. After that, it goes to the reverse brick, which is basically a freebie to your red zone. So here, it's checked in at half field, Salzman. And looked like a handler miscue, but so stall is called before the throw went up. It was crucial that Ian Hansen caught that regardless. So the disc will stay with Hansen. Reset to Salzman. And Middlebury taking advantage of the yardage they gained from the offsides to score to bring this game within 3.
Still not sure if we missed the soft cap horn, assuming it did go off when our timer went out. The the game will be to 14 here.
So Air Force 12, Middlebury 9. The winner goes to the finals, playing the winner of Bryant and Carleton College. Bryant is currently leading that game 10-6. They are the #1 seed here in the men's division. So De Lorenzo pulling for Middlebury. And that pull lands out of bounds. Villanueva to bring it in for Air Force. At the brick mark. Air Force in the vertical stack doing what's known as a zipper play, where the back two go to either side. The third person from the back goes deep. That was Delgado. He catches it, and he will pass it to Higgins, and Higgins gets the goal.
You can tell they've practiced that one a little bit. Villanueva barely even took an entire stall count before he released that one.
Villanueva with the patience to find Higgins. So they have 13, Middlebury 9. We still have not heard the soft cap horn.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with that.
We will let you know if the game goes to 14, but as far as it stands now, the game is still to 15. You can see some of the sideline camaraderie. Kai De Lorenzo having a heck of a game today for Middlebury, keeping it alive for them. And
Salzman drawing several defenders with him.
yes, so Salisbury went deep initially out of the handler spot, drew some defenders. Instead, De Lorenzo caught it underneath, looking for Salisbury.
Oh.
Salisbury with the layout, catch, goal, and spike.
Salzman able to bust deep initially from the handler set, come hard back under, and then push just right back out deep again. with a great finish there.
The disc was starting to fall. It was trailing off, but Salzman able to read it. So that will give Middlebury their 10th goal of the game. They're down by 3. Air Force will receive the disc to be on offense.
Go, Salisbury!
Disc is up. Chung Moy catches the pole, centers to Villanueva. Air Force back in their vertical stack. This time, last in the stack goes deep. 3rd and 4th come under. Moshe catches it. Resets to Villanueva. And Moshe is going deep. And that is a goal, 14th goal. Villanueva with that really nice outside in flick huck. And Moshe had 2 defenders, but since he already had probably about a step and a half or so on his person, he was able to catch it relatively unguarded.
Yeah, that is some great vision there by Villanueva to be able to execute on that and trust that he could put it into space where only his receiver could get there.
And we have now heard the horn for soft cap, but the game will still be to 15. And spirit of the game is something that both teams exhibit, which is part of the amazing sportsmanship you've seen so far. At the service academies, at all of them, they have to go by a code of conduct, which is essentially like spirit of the game, but throughout campus. So if students are cheating or, you know, disobeying the rules, it's up to them to kind of have that honesty and integrity. But a lot of those principles then apply when you're on the field in that sportsmanship and spirit of the game. Middlebury, again, out of the vertical stack. De Lorenzo with the disc. Resets to Salzman. Right back. Middlebury working for those yards underneath. And kind of looking for that over the top is an interception instead. Browning. And answered with a bit of miscommunication. Gives Middlebury another opportunity. Salzman picking up. De Lorenzo. And there's a bid from Salzman. That's another goal for Middlebury.
Seeing more of that patience in front of the end zone there. Able to fake off an initial cut. Step. Put a nice throw out to space for Salzman.
So Middlebury coming within 3. Air Force to receive the disc. They have 14 to Middlebury's 11. Crucial moment for both teams. A trip to the finals at stake here at the D3 College Championships. I hope you're enjoying the stream. The D3 USA Ultimate Division III College Championships are presented by VC Ultimate, supporting our community and creating the highest quality uniforms and apparel for Ultimate since 1998. VC Ultimate. We hope you stay up to date. Be sure to use the event hashtag USAU D3 Champs. And make sure to follow USA Ultimate on all of their social channels. If you're watching from one of their social channels. You can find out a lot of great information about different things that are happening with Ultimate all across the country. From the youth scene to college, all the way up into the adult club division. And all kinds of fun in between. So De Lorenzo with the disc to pull for Middlebury. Villanueva to receive. Villanueva certainly a strong force in Air Force today. And all season. Lots of float on that pole. Higgins with the disc. Delgado dishes to Villanueva. And there's a layout bid from Salzman. He gets the block and will get the disc on offense. Looking for the reset, he'll get it. Back to him. De Lorenzo. And there is a call on the field. Looks like a contested foul call. And there is Chung Moy. Timeout called, Air Force. Remember that the caps do not matter when it comes to timeouts in this division. So if Air Force scores here, they will win the game and advance on to the finals. If they don't score here, then that means Middlebury has scored and goes within 2.
Middlebury proving out there they definitely don't think this game is close to over yet. Keeping that energy up.
Air Force with a pretty crucial interception.
Absolutely. Chung Moy able to get the disc back after a bit of a miscue. Tried to kind of no-look it back to Villanueva there. Was able to earn that D back for his team, though.
So he will get the disc. Villanueva is the off-handler in the vertical stack. Moshe going off the back right away. Disc is live. Put up in the air. Immediate look from Villanueva to Moshe, but Di Lorenzo is there to get the block.
That's a great defensive play by Di Lorenzo there. Stuck with his man all the way through that deep run. Was able to get up in a space that could have gone either way a lot of times for most for most jump balls like that.
So Salzman with the disc. Middlebury swinging to the far side. Looking to reset to Salzman. He has the disc. Scoober to Di Lorenzo is good. Pops up, but the very tall receiver the disc goes out of bounds to the left. So Air Force with another chance on offense. Coming in at the front near cone. Or pylon in this case, if you're going to get technical. Villanueva swinging across. Chungmoy is there and shoots it to Arns. Now Moshe for the Chungmoy. This to Higgins. And Higgins was trying to go kind of over the top to find Villanueva, but the defense was there. Turning into a multiple possession point. Double covered is Di Lorenzo. There's Villanueva out of the air, foul called. So the players are discussing, and they can choose to make a ruling without going to the observers, or they can get a third-party opinion from the observer. Every player is entitled to his or her own vertical space.
Yeah, that one was a little bit closer than I maybe thought at first glance.
So they do go to the observer. It's ruled not a foul. Villanueva will keep it. The wind has started to gust more. And a violation is called on the field. Once there's a foul, you have to remain still until the disc is checked back in. Higgins underneath. Moshe near the back of the end zone. He'll stay in bounds. Gets the score. So nice continuation from Villanueva to Higgins underneath. And Higgins sees his tall receiver in Moshe. Matthew Moshe. Heck of a game today. So Air Force will advance to the finals. They defeat Middlebury 15-11. Middlebury really trying to make a comeback near the end, but what do you think was a key, Andrew, for Air Force and their success?
Well, they were really able to capitalize, kind of like they did on that last score there on, some matchups. As great of a defender as Salzman was the size just really didn't give him the opportunity to make a play on that last disc. I think they were able to, really just not get too antsy, other than that last point maybe, through some through some second half kind of lulls. They were able to keep up the pressure, keep up the intensity, and force Middlebury to really make some big plays in order to actually come back.
So Middlebury falls to the Air Force Academy to go to the finals. Air Force will go to the finals. On the other side of the bracket, Bryant, at last check, was leading Carleton College Gods of Plastic 14-9. So it is likely Air Force will face Bryant in the finals of the men's division. We will have the women's finals here next. You're watching USA Ultimate. For Andrew Fisher, I'm Emmy Fitzgerald. Thanks for watching the USA Ultimate Division III College Championships.